In this video, we're going to be looking at how you can solve a system of equations using the substitution method. We already have talked about how you do the substitution method. This time, we're going to go a little bit further and just look at a couple different types of ways that you might use the substitution and how those equations might look when we are using this method. But first, what I want to do is I want to review from what we already know, and that's really just the basic way that we can use the substitution method when solving a system of equations. So we've seen ones like this already, where we have two equations. Sometimes you'll have it grouped with this little bracket here. That's sometimes how you see the system set up. But you can see the second equation right here is in the form where we have y and it's equal to something. So I have y equals x minus 1. So we talked about how if we have one of the equations in that form, what I can do is take this y out and replace it with the x minus 1. So I'm going to go and I'm going to rewrite it so that 3 is being replaced with x minus 1. And remember, the reason why we're doing this is so that we can solve the equation and so that we only have one variable. So instead of an x and a y, we have just x's, which we can solve the equation for x then. So I'm going to go and start solving this equation. I'm going to multiply. We're going to multiply times negative 3. See how it's a minus 3 in front of it? So negative 3 times x. And then I have negative 3 times negative 1, which is a positive 3. So then I'm going to combine like terms. These two can be combined. So 2x minus 3x would be a negative 1x. And then I'm going to subtract 3, which is negative 1x equals, so this was a negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. And I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1, so x is equal to 4. So here's my x value. So I know in the solution, the x value would be 4. So then what we do is we're going to plug it into one of the equations. I'm going to choose to put it into the bottom one and replace that x with a 4. So I do 4 minus 1, which is going to tell me that y is equal to 3. So this is the solution to this system. Remember, that means that if I graph these lines, it would intersect at 4, 3. And that point of x is 4 and y is 3 is where each of these equations, it would work in each of these equations. So if I put 4 in for x and 3 in here, it would be equal to negative 1. And if I put 4 in here, 4 minus 1, see how it equals the 3. So that's what we've done so far. So the next few, what I'm going to show you is some different ways that you still can use the substitution method, but it might look a little bit different. So see how on this one, we don't have one of the equations where it's equal to y equals or x equals. So if that happens, what you can look at and be like, okay, is there one of the equations that I can actually pretty easily change it so that I can use substitution? So if I'm looking at this top one, this one would be pretty easy to change so that I can get y by itself. Because if I'm thinking of how I can get that y by itself, we've talked about how we can move things around to get them into slope-intercept form. This is the same exact thing. So to get y by itself, I'm just going to subtract 3x from both sides. So that y is by itself. And then 5 minus 3x would be what would be on the right side. Remember, I can't put the 5 minus 3x and say it's 2x because 5 doesn't have an x with it. So I just leave it just like that. So y equals 5 minus 3x. And now see how what I have here, it's now equal to what y is. So I know that y is equal to 5 minus 3x, and now I can use the substitution strategy. So I'm going to go and I'm going to replace this y with 5 minus 3x because that's what I found right here, that y is equal to 5 minus 3x. So 5x minus 4, I'm replacing the y with 5 minus 3x equals negative 3. So remember, the reason why we want to do this is because now I can solve this equation because there's only a variable, one variable of x in it. So I'm going to distribute. So 5x, the negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. negative 4 times negative 3x is a positive 12x. I'm going to go and I'm going to combine. So I'm going to combine the 5x and this is a 12x. So I get 17x minus 20. And then I'm going to add 20 to both sides. So that makes that go away, 17x. Negative 3 and a 20 is 17. So when I divide by 17, I'll get that x is equal to 1. So there's the x value. Now, you can actually put that 1 into any of the equations. I oftentimes get the question like, well, can I put it into the one that I converted as well? Yes, because it's equivalent to the same thing. So I can actually put it into this equation, I can put it into this equation, I can put it into this equation for solving for the y. So I'm actually going to, let's just use this top equation. So the 3 would be, I know what the x is, so 3 times 1, see how I replace the x with the 1, that's equal to 3. So 3 plus y equals 5. Subtract 3 from both sides, I can see that y is equal to 2. And if I would have done it here, I should get the same answer. I'm going to replace the y or the x with 1. So 5 minus 3. See how I get 2 again? So here's my solution. Here's another way that it might look. So on this one, the difference is that I just have x is equal to 3. And to be honest, this is actually an even easier. We already know what x is, so it's even easier to solve this one because I'm just plugging the 3 in for x. There's nothing more I have to do. So I know that 3 goes in for the x. And then all I need to do is do 3 times 3. So there's no real distribution to a couple things. It's just 3 times 3. And I'm going to solve for y. I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. That's equal to 0 there. So negative 6y equals 3 minus 9 is negative 6. Divide by negative 6, so y is equal to 1. So now I already knew that x was 3. I was told that right here. So x is 3, y is 1. So it just looks a little bit different because I know what x is, but it's the same strategy. I'm plugging the 3 in, I'm substituting the 3 in, and then solving for the y. One last one here. This one is where we have y equals for both of the equations. Now, we actually have already talked about how you solve these. So we called it the setting equal method. Now, the setting equal method is actually just a form of substitution. So if it's looking like this, it's setting equal or substitution. It's really the same thing because if you think about how we solved it, what we said is we're just going to take the 7x plus 4, put it on one side of the equal sign, and then 9x plus 8 and put it on the other side. Because what you're really doing is we know what y is equal to, so we're plugging that in for the y there. So it's really you substituting the 7x plus 4. So you could actually say that this is the setting equal method or just a special kind of the substitution method. So now I just solve it where I'm solving for x. I'm going to get x on the same side by subtracting the x's there. So I get 4 equals 2x plus 8. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, and I get 2x equals negative 4 divided by 2. X is negative 2. So I know x is negative 2. And then I can plug it into either equation. Let's just say I choose the top one. So y equals 7 times x, and we know x is negative 2 plus 4. So negative 14 plus 4. So y is equal to negative 10. So the point where these two lines would intersect would be at negative 2 and negative 10. So these are just a couple different ways that solving a system might look when I do want to use the substitution method. So the same thing is really the same. You're going to be plugging a value in that you know of a variable and then solving for both the x and the y or whatever the variables are. They might just look a tad bit different when we're presented with the system. So you just need to know like that the way that they look Might be a little bit different, but we're still using the substitution method.